Folks, it's that feeling. It is Freaky Friday in a May, and we are dipping right into the mailbag. But before we start, it's that weekend vibe, I think, already kicking in for Bill Landis. Jeremy Birmingham's over there. I'm Austin Ward. Bill,
yeah.
Why do you look like Bret the Hitman Hart?
Because I just got back from the eye doctor and had my eyes dilated and didn't really think that maybe it might be difficult to, I don't know, sit in my office and stare at my computer immediately after that. So it's either me wear sunglasses or do the podcast with my eyes closed. I figured this was better.
I want to be clear about something. So, as I prepare like the necessary accoutrement for the podcast every day, I made the graphic for the cover photo of this episode. And I said, the mailbag is back, and then ... and it's weirder than ever. And I did that before this began, and I had no idea what we were in for, but I am totally here for this. And it gives me an idea that for Fridays, when we have slow Fridays like this one and mailbag Fridays, that maybe we just need to find ways to weird it up as much as possible with costumes.
I thought you were already doing that with your St. Patrick's Day shirt in the middle of April that you wore a few weeks ago.
No, I was just wearing that shirt that day.
And I like Bill's glasses. I think he should wear these for every show.
I wear them all the time. I got new contact lenses, so I can wear my contacts and I can wear these sunglasses. It's my new thing.
I feel like if I squint hard enough, that I might be able to read your research off of these glasses.
I don't have any research on my computer because I wouldn't be able to read it anyway. I can barely see the two of you.
I love it. Okay. So I was hoping that Bill was going to read the questions this week so that I could go in and actually have a show that I was doing blind and give some live reactions. But I found out just beforehand that Bill could no longer read. So I have them, and I'm trying not to jump ahead and spoil them so that we can still be fresh. Brutus Buckeye wants to get us started, Bill, and she wants to know, or he, Brutus Buckeye, Brutess Buckeye.
Brutess.
I guess it's a she. Either way,
is there two S's and an E?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then that's the feminized version.
I don't want to make assumptions. What besides winning the national championship will it take for the national media to regard Ryan Day as one of the nation's top 3 coaches? I feel like Brutess Buckeye already answered that question.
I think it's win a national championship. Who does the national media think are the top 3 coaches? Kirby Smart, obviously. Who are the next 2?
Dabo, probably because he's won a national championship. And Brian Kelly.
I think people love to put Lincoln Riley in the top 3. That's my only criticism about these lists generally, is that Lincoln Riley is always above Ryan Day, and I have no idea why.
They're kind of the same, except Ryan Day has won games of import, and Lincoln Riley has not. But Lincoln Riley gets Heisman trophies, which apparently is a coaching accolade. Who knew? So I would put Ryan Day ahead of Lincoln Riley, and I would imagine he's in the top 3 for some people. Brian Kelly's definitely high on those lists sometimes.
James Franklin's always super high on these lists.
James Franklin manages to find his way up there. Yeah. I haven't looked to see. I think Bruce Feldman and Stu Mandel did put out their top 25 coaches list, but I didn't actually read them to see who the top 3 were. But yeah, I don't mean, if Ryan Day's not getting top 3 consideration, then I don't know what he can do other than win a national championship. That seems to be the criteria to get into that stratosphere. And there aren't a ton of current college head coaches who have won national championships. 2? Right? Yeah, I think 2. Right? Kirby and Dabo.
Kirby and Dabo.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Well, now that Jim Harbaugh is gone and Nick Saban are gone.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think at worst, Ryan Day is 5th, but to jump up 2 spots, I think he has to get a big old ring. He doesn't have one yet.
I mean, what could he do besides that? He needs to beat Michigan in November, and he needs to win the Big Ten again. And it's, I don't think, unfair to not have him in the top 3 based on what's happened the last 3 years. Even if there were circumstances beyond his control for 2 of those 3 games, it doesn't matter. I mean, they not when it comes to these rankings, and not when it comes to what he has to accomplish for this particular year. Where he starts it in these coaches' rankings doesn't matter. Everything for Ryan Day's entire career and legacy is really on the line this year. And It's going to come down to November, and it's going to come down to winning a game in Indianapolis. I don't think that beyond that, he absolutely has to win a national championship to change that, but it would cement a place in the top 3 moving forward, because to get into that upper echelon, you have to have a national championship. This year may be a little bit of an exception just because 2 of those guys left the profession at the same time who had a big ring, but it really is that simple when you're the coach at Ohio State.
I mean,
do you guys want the rankings from Bruce Feldman?
Yes, just the top 6 or until we hit Ryan Day.
Kirby, Dabo, Lance Leipold is 3.
Oh,
Kalen DeBoer is 4, and Ryan Day is 5.
Oh boy!
And I'm going to give you Stu's. My former coworkers, by the way, who I like and respect. Stu has Kirby 1, Lance Leipold 2, Kalen DeBoer 3, Mike Norvell 4th. That's a choice. Kyle Whittingham 5, Brian Kelly 6, Ryan Day 7.
No.
Disagree.
Hard pass on that one.
How many games did Kansas win last year?
8, I think.
I mean, he's a good coach. Is he the second best coach in college football or the third best coach in college football? No.
I mean, he's a very good coach, but we don't have to do this all the time. We don't have to just leap onto we don't have to jump to conclusions.
If other people agreed with that assessment, which I don't want to pick on anyone's lists and their own opinions, that's fine. But if people thought that Lance Leipold was the second or third best coach in college football, he would currently be the head coach at Texas A&M or Michigan
or Alabama.
Or Alabama. All those jobs were just open.
It's a hard conversation because the criteria is not applied equally across the rankings, right? Clearly there's an advantage given the guys who have won national championships at the FBS level, but then to put a guy 2, because Lance Leipold's won everywhere he's been. But by that same token, so is Kurt Cignetti. Are you putting Kurt Cignetti number 4 because he won in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and James Madison? I don't know. I think doing it at the highest level has to matter at some point. And granted, Ryan Day is not very long into being a head coach, right? This is his 5th season. Am I right?
This will be 6.
Sixth season. Yeah. So he doesn't have the longevity of a Lance Leipold, who's a very good, he's an excellent football coach. But I don't know if you put Lance Leipold at Ohio State, does he have multiple Big Ten championships and a national title? I don't know the answer to that. So that's the hard part of it for me. But I would probably put Ryan Day higher than 7th, I think, nationally. Has
Lance Leipold won the Big 12?
He's last year was his 2nd year there, right?
Yeah, that's my point. What are we doing? This isn't necessary.
He could win it this year.
Yeah. Us 3 and 8 guys we know could win the Big 12 this year.
The Big 12 is good, man. I won't hear any Big 12 slander.
Colorado still won't do it, though.
Colorado will not. That's true.
Jason Melman, he wants to piggyback off of this.
Jason, by the way, sent in 14 questions. I stopped counting. Last count, he sent in 14. I just grabbed one.
Thank you, Jason. We appreciate your steadfast support.
Shout out to Jason. The one that Bill selected and sent to me was more likely to happen.
Austin's internet slows down. Let's try that again, Austin. You said what's more likely to happen is what? So Bill and I are going to continue to talk about these sunglasses and how just amazing they are. How long have you had those, Bill? Because I think that I've never seen you in sunglasses before, and now I don't think I want to see you in anything else.
I don't typically wear sunglasses because I'm usually wearing my regular glasses, but I don't know. These are a Walmart purchase, I think. I bought them last
Or a
time.
ball hat.
I do wear a ball hat.
Austin, what was Jason's question again?
Oh, you missed it? I don't know how that happened. What's more likely to happen next year? Ohio State wins the national title or Michigan loses 4 games?
Oh, that was a great question.
I think it's more likely that Michigan will lose 4 games than Ohio State will win the national title, just by sheer odds. It's hard to win the national title. Michigan has a pretty tough schedule.
Michigan does have a tough schedule. I think it is more likely that Michigan loses 4 games as well. But I think it's it's as likely probably as it's been at this point of the offseason that Ohio State is going to win a national title. Folks are pretty excited about what the Buckeyes have potentially.
Let's see. Michigan could lose to Texas, to USC, to Washington, probably not. Michigan State will be a toss-up. Oregon and Ohio State in the regular season. So I mean, there's
hold on a second. You said that Michigan State is going to be a toss-up with Michigan.
Yeah.
On Thursday on the podcast daily, you completely dismissed any possibility that Michigan State could play a competitive game against Ohio State.
Yep.
What's then how can this even be a question? Michigan, how is that a toss-up? Michigan should be losing like 7 games based on that criteria if they're the same competitive level as Michigan State.
No, not every game's the same. That's a rivalry. It matters. It's Jonathan Smith's first game at the head coach at Michigan State. Like, it's a big deal. I mean, it's in Ann Arbor, so you got to give Michigan a little bit of
that makes it even worse that you're saying it's a toss-up.
I'm saying it's a toss-up. It's a rivalry game. Anything goes. And plus, that was at the end of October. Michigan State will have had more time to figure out who they are instead of late September when they play Ohio State. I just think it makes more sense. There's sound logic being applied here. This is not,
I don't think from day to day that's sound.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
It is. Michigan is absolutely going to lose at least 4 games. So that makes it more
at least 4 games.
Yeah, I think they'll lose more than 4 games.
Wow.
They're not going to be good. What are they going to do with?
They're going to have like the top 10 defense
in the country.
Okay, how are they going to score points?
You don't need to.
Same way they always have, just running the ball and holding on to the ball for the entire game.
And Will Johnson pick 6s against every bad team they play.
Okay, well,
or
you just told me that they were the same level as Michigan State. So
I did not say that they're the same level.
You got to toss the records out, man. It's a rivalry.
How are we allowing you to just put words into my mouth? I never said that they're the same level as Michigan State. I said that game is a toss-up because it's a rivalry game, and all of the things around it.
I think
out for blood.
I think Michigan's going to lose 3 games. I think they're going to lose to Texas, Ohio State, and Oregon, and then it's a matter of whether or not they beat USC. I guess for this question. Although, like, Fresno State is not the easiest opener in the world either. Fresno State will be a pretty good G5 team this year. So, like, it's not. I don't think you're like nuts, Austin, for thinking Michigan might go 7-5. I just don't. I don't know that I'd say it as emphatically as you did, but I don't. It's certainly on the table.
Michigan's road games are. This is where I'm on the fence because they play road games at Washington, who's going to be down after obviously the national championship and a lot of the guys drafted and everything. At Illinois, at Indiana, and at Ohio State. That's it. So they only have 4 road games. That makes things a little bit easier, I think, to see where they could sneak out a couple wins that maybe just based on what team offensively they have coming back, and you could see them losing if they were at USC or more so at Oregon. But they get both those teams at home, which is in Texas at home, which is a pretty good home slate, by the way, if you're a season ticket holder in Ann Arbor.
You get a cut of that too?
I do not. I'm just saying, like that's after what we've witnessed at Ohio Stadium in the last couple of years for home games, like that's like
what we're going to witness this year. You mean?
I think the man owns a piece of Ticketmaster.
Awesome.
Yeah, all my homies hate Ticketmaster though. I think this is this has got to be geared to you two and not to me at all. Tim wants to know how you're feeling, a very rare basketball question, about the talent acquisition so far under Jake Diebler.
Oh yeah, I meant to do more research on this before answering this question. Whoops. It's a better roster, right, than it was, I think, at the end of last season. It was funny to me because part of the decision to hire Jake Diebler was like continuity and like keeping this young core together, and then half the young core left. But if you're going to replace Felix Okpara with Aaron Bradshaw, it's not bad. Like, it's pretty good. So I like what they've done. Ohio State's history with transfers has not been tremendous. Like, there have been guys that they've gotten to be up transfers who just didn't take that step necessary to be impactful Big Ten players. And then the couple of power conference to power conference transfers they have are like more or less the same player they were where they were previously. So like, that'll have to be different for this to be a better team than it was this past season. But I also think it's encouraging that Jake Diebler combined with the NIL efforts going on with the basketball program, has enough juice to land some big time portal additions.
I don't like the idea of building a team through the portal. I understand where you may have to, revitalize a position or two, but to Bill's point, like Jake Diebler was hired essentially because Ohio State had their core 4 guys that they needed to keep, and only 2 of them are still in Columbus, and that's disappointing. But I think what you have with Sean Stewart, with Aaron Bradshaw, like he said, you have 2 guys from Duke and Kentucky, respectively, that you look at and you say, hey, upside wise, these guys maybe are a little bit better than what we have or had potential wise. But I really liked where Felix Akpara was as a player in the sophomore year. I love where he was going. I'm a big fan of Roddy Gale and the way he plays, and the fact that he's now at Michigan is just hard to swallow. I don't know what a reasonable expectation is for this season for Jake Diebler, but I would think that it's going to be a bit of a challenge in year one to put a team that looks like that they did in the last 4 weeks of the 2023-24 season together. I just don't see it. So we'll see.
Oh, really? Oh, I think they will be much better than they were last year. I just does that mean they're going to win a Big Ten title? Probably not. But if they're not a tournament team with this roster, he just went out and added from the 2023 recruiting class the number 5 player and the number 22 player to a roster that already had Bruce Thornton on it. Has Tayson Chapman stepping up, Judy Mobley's coming in, Devin Royal I think is a really good player and going to take a step. They better be good. This is not a we did what we could to patch the roster together and hopefully things work out kind of off season. This is a we need to win off season. My feeling on it is based on the fact I just don't trust transfers who didn't if the goal is to supplement your roster through the transfer portal. You added 2 guys here that have to be starters. Neither one of them showed really that they had the chops to be a full-time guy at Duke or Kentucky. For whatever reason, with Bradshaw, I know there's some injury issues, but if those guys are what they were projected to be coming out of high school, great. But generally speaking, that's not how it goes. And so I guess I'm from Missouri on that. I'm waiting to see it. Fair. Yeah.
I think what's most interesting about the evaluations there from you two is that by and large, the Ohio State fan base seems most excited about the return of Michi Johnson. And it does feel like maybe I'm wrong, that you two are more skeptical about that move and the return than you are sure that it's going to work out.
Okay. Here's the problem I have. Felix Akpara was getting better offensively, and defensively is really, really good. Roddy Gale had his ups and downs offensively, but defensively, I liked the energy he brought, and I liked the length, and I liked the way he guarded people on with Bradshaw and Michi Johnson. I think the defense is taking a major step backwards, and for a team that lacks what I would consider a go-to guy in the post at this point, I just don't know that there's going to be enough consistent offense to allow you to make up for the loss of defensive stops. And I think that defensively they're going to be pretty bad.
Yeah, I think they could very well be worse defensively, which worries me. And also, Michi's a very exciting player. He is not an efficient player, and that worries me. It's how Michi helps you counteract losing some shooting, right? Especially with Jamison Battle leaving. But how many shots per game is he going to have to take to get you the points that you're trying to make up for? That's what's kind of in my head. I would like for him to be a more efficient scorer than he has been in his college career.
Yeah. And Jamison also gave you the added benefit of being able to play in the post and rebound and he was a pretty good passer. He was good court vision. Michi is a spot up shooter and that's great. He's good at it. But again, if he's got to take 20 shots to get what Battle got in 11 or 12 shots, then it's a much different conversation.
It is. It's a good one to have. It's nice to have a little more intrigue around Ohio State basketball than we've had in the previous couple of years. Back to football, though. That is where our bread is buttered. And Jordan wants to know, of the players in the Ryan Day era, which ones do you think are most likely to follow in the Brian Hartline and James Laurinaitis path into becoming a high-level coach in the future? The second part of that question, take the same group of players. Which do you think will follow in the Bobby Carpenter path into media?
Who on the roster is going to be on the Rooster show?
And I hope in 15 years we're still doing the Rooster show.
Yeah. Yeah, after that player has a nice long NFL career, and we're still doing the Rooster Show 15 years from now, who will it be?
Well, that person would be Lathan Ransom.
Oh, that's your guy.
Yeah, I mean he's actively seeking out opportunities in media. He's like outgoing, intelligent, outspoken, great leader, great football player. And if you're going to go pop into a radio studio, that shows how interested you are in actually turning that into a future. And the fact that he's doing it with Bobby Carpenter on the Morning Juice is another point that he's seen the light. That's the pathway both to the NFL and then to Roosters beyond that, which is exactly where you want to be.
That's a good pick. I don't know. Like there are a bunch of guys on the team with like really good personalities, but I don't know who has the passion for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lathan is a good one. I could see like Quinshon Judkins doing it. He's got like a pretty fun, I think, and engaging personality. When he's done being an NFL running back, maybe he could be a media guy.
Josh Fryer's great at it.
Yeah, Josh Fryer. That's a good one. Devin Brown.
Devin Brown especially.
I'm gonna bet a large sum of money that Josh Fryer does not get into media.
Devin Brown especially.
This will be a pro wrestler instead.
I love Josh Fryer. Love talking to him. He has never turned down an interview request that we've had with him on the side. But I think when he is done playing football, he will be done talking about it.
How about the other part, the coaching part?
Lathan Ransom. No, I'm just
I was going to say Lathan's the guy I could really see doing it.
But Cody Simon.
Yeah, he's a coach.
Yeah, feels like a coach.
I think Jack Sawyer will go like he'll be like the Pick Central head coach and win 6 state championships.
I think Jack's a really good answer for both sides of this, honestly. Like,
yeah,
it's someone who could do either or. Like, if there's a guy going to follow in the true James Laurinaitis footsteps, like work in media and then get into coaching, I could see that as Jack doing that. But wide receiver wise, I'm trying to think like truly. Like it takes.
I mean, Emeka can do the media stuff as well.
Emeka's like for those guys that had successful NFL careers and then decide to come back and coach. Like it takes a very unique mindset and like commitment to the process of building a football player to want to do that. It's not very rare, or it's pretty rare these days. It's not common that guys like go and make millions of dollars and then decide, hey, you know what I want to do? 75 hours a week is talk to teenagers. Like that's pretty unusual. So I don't know that the guys who are doing that, and it's happening more around the country than it used to, but because of recruiting and the impact they can have there. But I think that I don't think those guys get nearly enough credit for what they've given back to the program after, leaving it and going off and having success elsewhere.
But the question was Ryan Day era, right? Not just the current roster.
Ryan Day era.
This is the Ryan Day era.
No, but I want to like CJ Stroud is going to do something in media. He's already like kind of doing stuff with Micah Parsons, and like it's really good.
He's so good at it.
Yeah. So like he's going to make a obscene amount of money playing quarterback in the NFL, and he's going to do it successfully for a long time. But while he's doing that, I'm sure he'll dabble in some media stuff, and when he's done, whenever that is, like he'll be able to do whatever he wants in media because he's really good at it.
What's LeBron's things called? Like interrupted or barbershop or whatever he did.
Both? Yeah, I forget what is uninterrupted. I think is what it's called. But yeah, like something like that. Yeah,
CJ is going to have one of those immediately. Yeah. People will watch what he did with the draft and be like, "Oh, that makes sense. Let's make a lot of money on that."
Have you guys ever seen a player go from being kind of uncomfortable in his own skin to being that comfortable in his own skin as quickly as CJ did?
I never got the impression that CJ was uncomfortable.
He wasn't someone that like sought out media early in his Ohio State career. Like he wasn't standoffish by any stretch, but like now it's like that
I think he
all over the place.
I think he bit his tongue a little bit while he was here. And that maybe created the illusion that he was uncomfortable. And now he doesn't care.
I'm kind of surprised that you would say that, Berm, because we talk about the story all the time about going out to Rancho Cucamonga. That kid that we talked to when he was in his senior year of high school. I don't think he's any different than the one we talked to on Pro Day. I honestly don't.
I think Bill got it right. It was like sometimes his muting himself or stopping himself from saying what he really wanted to say. Maybe I mistake that as uncomfortable as opposed to just limiting himself. And now he's no longer doing that. And it's wonderful for everyone.
Well, he didn't like it when he was getting criticized for like the post-Nebraska press conference that he was not a running back. But that was an example of him still being honest. And like, I remember in real time, I had no problem with what he said. It was completely accurate. He did not come to Ohio State as a running back. It was true.
That's true.
Thank God, because he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Michael would like to know, let's get off of football for just a second. We'll return, I promise. Bear with us on Freaky Friday on the Podcast Daily. How do you find your zen? Berm, you're a savant of zen activities. What
music?
I love music.
I mean, our road trips are pretty epic music sessions. I mean, we go through the gambit. We run through a ton of different genres, and we're very eclectic. Our zen on road games is like getting a Jimmy John's in the morning when there's a night game, like little things like that, little things that we feel like we have to do. But I don't really need zen. Like, I get to talk about Ohio State football and sports for a living. Like, I'm pretty relaxed about it. Like
I like that. We eat Jimmy John's is your answer to.
I haven't had Jimmy John's. I haven't had it in like 7 months, so that I'm not getting any zen out of that.
Yeah, I'm not getting any zen out of that.
And you're not either, because like the last 3 times that you tried to pick it up at the location near the Ward House, they've botched your order, or it's not been ready, or they won't deliver it to you for an hour. They're making it worse for you.
That's not like game day zen though. When I think of like, where do you find your zen? The question is, how do you find it on a game day? Not like on a normal Monday night at Austin's house. Like I don't need zen then. I can just be like, screw this. And you guys, now don't get me wrong. The Sawmill and Bethel location of Jimmy John's is pissing me off, but like, I mean, I can't do anything about it. They don't care.
Get it together, Jimmy's John.
But if you're listening, Jimmy's John, I'd like to have a conversation.
Bill, how do you find your zen behind those glasses?
You should sit in my office and wear sunglasses, and that usually does it. I don't know. I don't really feel like I need to find my zen before an Ohio State football game.
Well, it doesn't say it.
I'm not playing in it. No. I was responding to Berm. No, I think
I do though. Yeah. Like I get a little geeked up.
I got you. It's nice. Music is a big one. I actually like it'll sound counterintuitive, I guess, because I guess zen suggests like tranquility and silence almost, but I enjoy like going to like a coffee shop and just kind of like sitting there in my own thoughts a little bit, even though it is not quiet. I do find that to be a useful environment to kind of re-engage a little bit. So
to stoke the internal fires.
Yeah.
Just to people watch and get inspired.
Eat a muffin. Yeah, it's great.
I thought you found it at the bottom of a hobby box.
No, that's where all my money goes. But I don't know. I don't know that that's zen.
You're not supposed to buy zen.
I find zen in mowing the grass. I love mowing the grass. I find zen in just going for a walk. But other than that, in real life, I don't really need much zen. Fortunately.
Why? Doesn't everyone need it?
No, because I drive back and forth to Columbus a ton, so I have all the peace and quiet I want in the car, like 6 hours a day, 3 times a week.
What about golfing? Do either of you find that to be an avenue to find your zen?
I like anything I do by myself. So whether if it's going to a movie, if it's going to the golf course, like if I can just be able to be by myself with my own thoughts, it doesn't matter what extemporaneous activity I'm participating in. Like I can just enjoy the fact that I'm having a chance to think by myself and parse through things by myself.
I didn't think anybody wanted to hear me talk about golf again, but also I think it's wild that Berm wants to go play golf by himself. Like, I want to have competition. So I guess I don't it's one of the things I enjoy most in life, but I'm such a ultra competitive person that I don't generally feel a lot of zen in the moment when I'm on the golf course. I enjoy it more like when Bill and I go to trade night or the National Card Convention and like rip a ton of cards and drink a lot of beer. That's when I'm probably like most relaxed and enjoying life more so than golf. There's also a competitive element to cards and trying to make some of that money back that we spend on it all. But those are the like when we've gone to the National, for instance, we don't have our children or our wives with us. So some of the stress melts away, and then you only focus on the next pack and the next beer and, make sure that SmackDown is on the screen. And boy, I'm getting zen feelings right now just thinking about it.
Can't wait for the National. National's in Cleveland this year, by the way. Anybody who wants to go.
That's just too many people, man. Like I don't want. If I want zen, I need to be separated from people. And as you know, like I had not played golf in 4 years. I played 3 times in the last week. And on Wednesday, I played 18 holes in 2 hours and 5 minutes. That's why I play by myself.
Well, slow down, bud.
I don't want to. I enjoy it. I put the pedal down, get to the ball, shoot. Get to the ball, shoot. I don't spend time lollygagging, overthinking it. I feel the breeze in my hair.
No, you're not feeling the breeze. You're rushing through. You're playing in 2 hours. Take your time, bud. Look around the course. Drink it in.
Yeah, screw that.
Actually feel that breeze.
Address the ball, hit the ball, go to the next shot. See, it's competitive with myself. What's the next question?
The 419 wants to know. Well, I think it's more of
it's a statement.
Opinion. It's a statement. It's not.
There's no question. It's a statement that they didn't put their name on, by the way.
Yeah, there's no question in it.
Uh-oh.
Roman is a better champion than Cody, and it's not close. I can't believe that, Bill, you're making me say this out loud. Someone could take a clip of this and make it feel like I said this, and then I would be disowned by my daughter. Cody is like that kid barely hanging on to the merry-go-round.
I just put that in there so you had to read it.
I mean, come on. Do you not, 419, want to see the world champion in action every month, if not every week? What's the point? Roman had a great championship reign, without question. I acknowledge his greatness. It was on a different level. There's no doubt about it. But it doesn't. Do you want him to be the forever champion? He needed a challenger who could take him down and to actually do it. This rivalry is not finished. The story is not finished. One chapter is closed. But let's give it a little bit of time. Cody has been the champion for a month. We're evaluating his entire reign compared to 4 years of Roman Reigns. Come on. This is unfair. I won't stand for it. And give the man some respect.
I like it. And Cody's first title defense was a banger. It was a great match.
Yeah, I mean, we're expecting him to leap immediately from dethroning Roman Reigns into like a long-term blood boiling feud. Like AJ Styles is the first. It was a perfect defense. The crowd was hot for it. They executed the match. He hit a Cody cutter off the top rope to put the match away. Like, if that's what it's going to be like, sign me up for it.
Don't roll your eyes over there like you don't have opinions about wrestling.
I just know how the comments are going to be in this segment of the analytics of the video. So I'm just like,
whatever.
Don't roll your eyes at it, Bill.
It's free.
This man, and he's also trying to act like he's too cool for it, which is what he doesn't want to be lumped into the comments when he's as involved now.
I enjoy watching it so that I can have the ability to have conversations with you guys about it. That's true. That's ultimately.
Don't couch it like that. Don't couch it.
But I'm not couching it. That's the truth. That I watch it so that I can, because we spend a lot of time together. I don't like to feel as though a quarter of the conversation I'm like a child who wanders in the middle of a conversation, lost in the living room. Like, I don't like that. I need to know what's going on. So I am compelled to watch it at least on the periphery to make sure that in the event something is occurring that would be of interest to you guys, that I can engage in conversation. It's not, it's actually pretty selfless of me.
Stop it. You and Allie have way more opinions about what's happening on Raw and SmackDown than I do. When I have
my opinions,
when I have to sit there and watch it, well, yeah, I do hate them. That's true. The two of you together watching those shows, you don't seem to just be wanting to talk to me about it. You seem to want people to recognize and acknowledge your opinions about the show.
I want people to acknowledge my opinion about everything. I'm incredibly self-centered.
And the span of 30 seconds, you gave yourself credit for being selfless and called yourself incredibly selfless.
In a very selfless sort of way.
He's the most humble person he knows.
Yeah.
We're so humble.
Okay. Well, that was fun. Rylan, though, wants to know, in our careers covering Ohio State or any other team, what our hottest hot takes were that ended up being completely wrong. Bill, I know yours.
Yeah, I thought Tate Martell was going to be good. Which at the time doesn't he was a borderline 5-star quarterback. He was a very highly regarded recruit. Everyone was very excited when Ohio State got Tate Martell. It was just very wrong. I don't think it was a hot take, but it's definitely the most wrong I've ever been.
Is it though?
Probably.
Is it wrong?
If Ryan Day did not arrive at Ohio State in 2017, do you believe that Urban Meyer and his traditional way of doing offense would have led to Tate Martell having a successful career at Ohio State?
Yes, I do believe that in my heart.
So do I.
How?
Because he was perfectly designed for that.
How was he perfectly designed for it? He was 5'10".
He was shifty. He was elusive.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, someone didn't watch the Rutgers game in 2017.
10 for 10, bub. What's that do for you?
It didn't do a lot. I mean, the double crow hop so that he could throw it 30 yards down the field was pretty impressive, though.
He did have to put a lot into that throw.
He did not have the physical attributes. Tate Martell was a confident kid. He was entertaining. He had a great personality. Enjoyed talking to him. I'm not taking anything away from him. There was never a single period of game reps, practice reps where I thought that what you're saying was true, Berm, that he could succeed at Ohio State. If Urban Meyer was going to try and run a JT Barrett offense with him, Tate Martell would not have physically survived.
What I'm saying is we just don't know. Anything's possible. Do I ever have hot takes? I don't even know if I do. I try to stay pretty lukewarm. The only time I get emphatic about something is if I say Jeremiah Smith's going to be really, really freaking good, or pay attention. I don't know that I generally get hot takey. I thought that Ryan Day would be a better long-term recruiter than Urban Meyer so far. I think that's borne itself out. I don't know that I've ever really had a hot take. Do I? Me? Hot take? No.
You've had
yeah. So you tell me, you know better than I do. You're keeping score more than I am, I'm sure, on these matters.
I lost the records; they're all gone. I don't try and keep track that way. Just week to week on bold predictions, and then that's it. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
What was your Quinn Ewers? Wager last year?
Oh well, yeah. America. Guess who still hasn't paid for their Quinn Ewers wagers?
I guess I owe Austin a little bit of scratch on Quinn Ewers not winning the Heisman
and not being a first-round draft pick. Just go to Target and pick up some Cronies blasters.
He'll still be a first-round pick next year, so that one that's a wash.
No, that was not your bet. You don't get multiple drafts.
Do you, honest to God, had Quinn Ewers enter the NFL draft?
There goes the camera. Whoa, how'd you do that?
Would he? Would Quinn Ewers?
Are you Darth Vader? What's happening?
I have powers you don't know about. Okay, but
thank God you had pants on.
What I'm saying, the cream pie episode was Thursday.
What?
Hold on. Bo Nix was the 12th pick in the draft.
Sure was.
Had Quinn Ewers elected to go to the NFL, do you honestly believe he would not have been a first-round pick, knowing what we know now?
Yeah, he would have been. He wasn't in the draft. That's why I won the bet.
Touche.
Wasn't like, would Quinn Ewers hypothetically be a first rounder? I didn't make that bet.
It's not my fault that he chickened out of the draft. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But he would have been a first-round pick. And he will be next year.
Well,
when he's the third quarterback.
Yeah.
When he's the third quarterback taken.
All right. Well, I'm not going to bet against Quinn Ewers being a first-round draft pick at this time next year because I think he will be. Speaking of quarterbacks, our final football question comes from Brett, and it starts with a statement that he strongly believes Will Howard is Ohio State's starting quarterback and Devin Brown is the backup. When we start fall camp at Ohio State, who is number 3? I feel that number 3 will determine the trajectory of that room moving forward in 2025. Also, I know Ohio State has a loaded backfield this year and is excited about the potential in the run game. However, I would like to hear your projections on how many passing yards for Will Howard this year. Kyle McCord had 3,012 games. So there's a lot in there. I think I'll start for the three of us. We all believe that Will Howard is going to be the starting quarterback. I think that is correct. Devin Brown will be the backup quarterback. This may be where we have differing opinions. Each of you have been to differing levels. I don't know, not advocates, open to the idea that Julian Sayin could be 3 at a minimum and possibly the backup for this team. I think Devin Brown kind of closes that door off. And I think that Lincoln Kienholz is perhaps not getting the credit that he might deserve as a dual threat athlete and the third quarterback for Ohio State. That would be my opinion. And I think that it's fine for true freshmen like Julian Sayin and Aaron Nolan to not have to be rushed into game readiness in year one. It would be disappointing, I think, in a lot of ways if Lincoln Kienholz was not in position to do that in his second year and with a full spring under his belt. And if Julian Sayin immediately passes him by fall. I don't think that is all that likely of an outcome, knowing full well what he may be the most talented pure passer on this roster. I'm not saying any of this to diminish any of the talent that is in the room, but I do think that Lincoln Kienholz is perhaps not getting enough credit for what he could be in year 2.
I think that's true. I think we probably have not discussed enough, like just how. I think we brought it up when we talked about quarterbacks the last time we had a discussion. But like Lincoln Kienholz is still very early in his development, and is just now like focusing on football, right? So he stands a very reasonable chance of getting much better even over the course of this summer. So like, does he have a shot to be QB3? Yeah, probably has a pretty good shot. I would still pick Julian Sayin to be QB3.
Okay.
I don't care who quarterback 3 is. Doesn't matter.
That's a hot take.
Ohio State, it has 5 really talented players at the position. I think any one of them are capable of being the guy in.
Is it uncomfortable sitting on that fence or?
No, I quite like it. I think that athletically, there is a large gap in that room between Lincoln Kienholz and anyone else athletically. So what he can do and what he's capable of when he focuses in on just football, I think we have barely begun to see what he's going to be. My fear is that maybe we won't get to see that at Ohio State, and that's going to annoy me. I tend to agree that Julian Sayin is the best pure passer in the room, and I think that intrigue around what he can do probably puts him in the position to, if Ohio State gets to the situation where they need a quarterback 3 for a sustained period, that he's probably the guy. So that's where I would go. How many yards does Will Howard throw for? 3,485.
Ooh, that's like almost exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, well,
yeah. I'm gonna price it right at 3,484. I was going to say
Price is right. You have to. Ohio State could be playing 16 games.
Yeah, I'm basing mine on a nice, easy, like split the difference on a 14 game schedule. I've got him at 13 Or 3,485. Now,
Okay, so here's
he threw for, just so you guys know, he threw for 2,643 in 12 games at Kansas State last year.
So I think Ohio State is going to play all the way to a national championship. I think Will Howard is the starting quarterback. I think it is quite easy in Ohio State's system for him to throw for 250 yards per game, just as Kyle McCord did last year. So I think Will Howard is going to throw for 4,000 yards.
my projection is based on 14 games at 249 yards per. So if it ends up being 16, it's 3,984 yards.
Yeah. If he's healthy, I think he's going to throw for 4,000.
It's not unreal. I'm looking to see. So Justin Fields in 2019, in a season when Ohio State ran the ball a lot, and in 14 games, he threw for 3,273 yards.
I mean, I recognize that like that's a pretty lofty number to throw out there, but
16 games potentially.
Ohio State's starting quarterback should be throwing for 250 yards in their sleep. Like
250. It's all about that balance.
I'm not expecting that, but we'll see what happens. All right.
Well, I've never seen anything cooler than you saying that in those shades.
It's a good look. Hey,
Make me feel so good. Remember, guys, you just do this.
Hey, Rich wants to know if anybody on the pod is going to the Buckeye Country Superfest next month, Berm. So I know that you are. He said
I am.
He'll be there, and it's going to be awesome.
I am going, and I am very excited.
I knew the answer was affirmative, so at least one of us. I don't believe that Bill is going, although both of us would have liked to. I'm not sure that the schedule will allow it.
Yeah, it's a show that I would definitely go to. The last couple of years I've been like, yeah, I would consider going to that. Like this year, it's like, man, I wish I was going to that, but I can't. Yeah.
There's still tickets available. Only a few. I saw it on Facebook.com late on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, sure. Ticketmaster guy.
Just saying. That's what Facebook said. It said
to make the last few dollars.
There's only a few tickets left. Go ahead and get them while you can. We bought ours very early. I'm very excited. It should be a nice weekend in the bus. Ohio State's last official visit weekend of June. I'm wondering if they're going to take OVs to the show, if they're allowed. I would imagine they're allowed. It's in their home stadium, right? Like,
yeah. Hey, I've been meaning to ask you guys this, so I'll just ask you on the show. While we're on the talking about country music, are you guys familiar with Wyatt Flores? Do you ever listen to him?
Can't say I am.
He's good.
Tell me about him.
He's very good. I think he's pretty young. He put out a record the same day that Taylor Swift put out her record, and his was
good timing.
His was good and hers wasn't. But I think you guys would like him. But the reason I mention him actually is because there's an event in conjunction with the Superfest that's happening at Newport Music Hall both nights, and like he's the headliner of that show both nights. So if you don't want to go to the shoe and watch it, you can go to Newport and also listen to country music.
So wait a minute. This man decided to release his album on the same day as Taylor Swift, and then
I don't know if
decided,
he decided, but
well, his management,
yeah,
perhaps with his input, chose this date, knowing that Taylor announced it 3 months ago that the Tortured Poets Department was coming out. And then, not only that, he's like, I'm not afraid of competition. I'm going to go head-to-head in Columbus with Zach Bryan.
No, they're affiliated. They're affiliated events.
Oh.
They're not head-to-head. One maybe it's that he's performing Friday night and like Superfest Light, and then Superfest is Saturday and Sunday. But they are not competing events. They are happening in conjunction with one another.
But he is from Stillwater, Oklahoma, so he obviously has he's got the chops. You know, that's
Red Dirt Country.
Yeah, I like him. I'm curious what you guys think as more country music aficionados.
So you're saying he's going to be in Columbus the night of June 21st? Is that what you're saying?
I believe that is the plan. Yeah, that's the weekend of Superfest. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll go to it. We should probably make it a plan to go.
There's another one coming with Bill. Remember, I put on Treaty Oak Revival for you on our last road trip to Philadelphia.
I do remember it, and I've listened to them a lot since then.
And one of the easy examples was, Co Wetzel mixed with punk. Well, guess what? They're touring with Co Wetzel. They're coming to Columbus as well. So that will be
nice.
a good show in the coming months. But I do. You're still fully out on the new Taylor Swift, huh?
I haven't given it a second chance, if I'm being honest. I didn't enjoy my first experience, but that has happened before with me and some of her music. And then I've gone back and liked it more later. So that could very well happen with this album, but I didn't love what I heard the first time.
Wyatt Flores, June 21st, 7 p.m., Newport Music Hall. Sounds like a deal. Sounds like a date. As far as the Tortured Poets department, I still think that the Podcast Daily is the preeminent TPD out there right now.
Well, there's no question. There's no question about that. Well, there probably is. We shouldn't say that because we will be attacked by the Swifties in the comments.
Have we not given enough adoration to Taylor over the years? Like we're fans.
I don't think we're allowed to criticize, even if we are Swifties. Like we'll get in trouble.
Right.
I don't live in that world.
She's infallible.
We should be careful. But that's also why I've just not been on social media at all for the last month. It's great to have a break. That's how I'm finding my zen. I didn't answer the question that accurately. I've just not been on Twitter, and it's wonderful.
It's pronounced X now.
Oh, sorry. I don't know letters. Thanks for joining us on Freaky Friday. This was a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, I'm sorry. That's a sincere apology. But you probably didn't make it to the end of the show if you didn't like it anyway. So whatever. For Bill Landis and Jeremy Birmingham, I'm Austin Ward. Thanks for joining us all week on the Podcast Daily. We'll be back on Monday. See you then.